We are finishing up week number 5 already. It's Thursday, 9/27. Here's an important point right here. Light edge tour next Tuesday. If you want to go, you have to contact me ASAP. And we're still lining up the details, but the group, I'll be already down there. And I may or may not attend the tour. We have Josh Mack here from the college, our CIO. He'll be there for the tour. So we're lining up. If other students want to go, they could come down for the tour. The tour is approximately 4 to 6 that evening. Okay. So probably about 1:30 or so. People are leaving from the college. Depending on how many we get, we'll look at a van, or we had a student volunteer to drive, or you could volunteer to drive if you want to drive and do a carpool, and we would make sure you have the directions and so forth and where to go and who to meet. And this is approximately 4 to 6, and so you would get back late that night. Okay. CIS-125, Introduction to Programming. We did conditional design. We added, as you'll see in a minute, we added some information to the landing spot problem, and then took the quiz on sequence. So, if you remember, we had this landing spot problem in which there's a start and there's a stop. I grabbed this off of the whiteboard reviews. So you can say, well, where was that? Whiteboard reviews. This is when we did the work down in the sandbox, the new classroom. And so we initialized. If you remember the problem, we initialized. We input, in this case, the diameter. The example we're using today is radius. Okay. Then we did some work here to get the radius. Did our calculations. Printed it out and stopped. Linear structure. Okay. So, the new problem has this. Here it is. So these were given. Our new problem, we're working with an example to where we have the radius. So we were given the band, or the width of the stripe, the size, that was given. And we're given pi, what that would be. So those are our constants. And then we have the radius of the circle in this example, and then using the radius and this, we could calculate how much paint it took. Now here's what we want to update the problem with. When the radius is over 100, we want to increase the bandwidth by 2 units. Okay? And then also, even though we didn't get to this in the programming part, the price is $30 a gallon, so we'd like to calculate the cost. So, our first item. That we talked about. What would we add to the legend? How would we update that? What additions would we give to the legend? Well, we're actually adding 2 new things down here. Right? Price and cost. So we could add those to the legend. Price per gallon, cost of the total of the paint. Total cost of the paint. Okay. The next thing. How do we manage this information here? Okay, how do we manage this information here? Okay, so we do an if statement. When the radius is over 100. So that could be if the radius is greater than 100. If that's true, we increase the bandwidth by 2. This is crazy, you know. If you were talking to one of the math instructors, they'd say, well, what? Band equals band plus 2? Let me rewrite that up here. Fact. Let me do it again. Band equals band plus 2. So, if you remember in the computer, when this instruction goes from memory to the processor knows it has this location and this location, so it goes back to memory, finds what's stored here, brings that up into the processor, adds 2 to it, and then that goes into the accumulator, and then the accumulator is sent back to memory to this storage location. So whatever was in band, 2 is added to it, and then it's sent back to band in memory. So then the position in memory that's holding that changes by 2. And then in our example here, we just put print in there to see it happen. Okay, so we could tell if we were going the true route, okay, or if we were going the false route. And then it comes back together right here. So we would include that probably somewhere right here. Okay, as we're coming down, we'd input, and in our problem it's actually the radius. We'd input the radius, reset the band, and then continue on with our work. Alright, so let me finish up here. Here's an example where we didn't fill it in, where we put price in the legend. What I want to do is run through briefly how you would code this. So you could use an if statement in Python. If radius is greater than 100, colon, and you can move in about 4 places, and you can say, you can do band equals band plus 2. And then in our example, we did a print statement just to show that it went through this route in the if-then command. And I think we just did something like quotes over 100. Whoops. Quotes. Okay. Then the else would be out here with another colon. And in there we just did a print to show the false part, and we printed not over. There. And then our other code continued here. So this is all straight line, and then this is indented, some set spaces. I usually use 4. And then here's what happens. Let's follow it through. It comes, this instruction goes to the processor, and grabs the radius, compares it to 100. If it's true, it goes here, performs these instructions. When it hits the else jumps over the false and goes here. If this is false, false, it goes to the line just below the else. If it's false, it performs these instructions and then continues with this code. So we actually have an example in Python and you can find that in the I recorded what we did today in Python, and that's in the enhanced learning section. So here's where we're at. Tuesday I will be gone. That would be 10-2, but we're going to have a group project that would require a conditional, and you'll work on it just in class. Okay, so I'll probably make it available Monday, and then you can look at it ahead of time if you want or whatever. You'll work on it in class, you'll design it, and you'll try to code it, and you'll save it in somebody's directory, and then you'll copy it into your group directory. And you'll do that all in class, whatever you get done in class. Okay. Remember the tour. If you want to go on the tour, you contact me, that I talked about earlier. And then you should be working on assignment 2. And you can always start assignment 3 if you want. Excuse me. You're working on assignment 2. I was thinking, and you can always start 3 when you want to, because they're both conditionals. All right. Let me know if you have any questions. That's it.